Hey, Steve, you can unmute yourself there on your end, and we're all good to go whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Holly. Welcome, everybody. We do have quorum, so I will call this meeting to order. This is the meeting number 126 for Wednesday, April 28th, 2025, and it's a virtual meeting of the Eastern Regional Service Boards. Can everybody hear me okay? All good? Okay. I'll call this meeting to order. Adoption of the agenda. The agenda is tabled for approval. Be it resolved that the agenda be adopted as tabled. So moved. Second by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Review of the minutes. The minutes are there for your review. If there are any omissions or errors, you can bring them forward now. I'll give everybody a minute. Hearing or seeing none, be it resolved that the minutes from March 26th, 2025 be adopted as tabled. So moved. Second by Ron Ellsworth. All those in favor? Contrary? Carried. As we get into the meeting, I will welcome Charles Bone from the ERSB. Welcome, Charles. Hopefully you'll bring some pearls of wisdom at some point during the meeting. Yes? Glad you're here. All right. He will. He always does. First up there in the committee reports is the Finance and Audit Committee, and the chair of that is Mr. Sandy Hickman, councillor for the City of St. John's. Councillor Hickman, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. I will bring my pearls of wisdom first. I did find my briefing note, Holly. Thank you. So our meeting was held April 10th, and first item is the board expenditures report, check, register, and payroll summary for March. And there's usual expenses there. We didn't have any concerns. Anybody have any questions for staff? Oh.
Nope, seen none.
Be it resolved, the board adopt the expenditures for the month of March 2025 as tabled. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Councillor Mayor Barty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
Incorporated Towns Payment Activity Report dated April 8th. One town remains delinquent, but their payment is on the way. The check is in the mail. There are no questions or concerns. Anyone else have questions for staff on this? Things are moving along nicely. Okay, draft asset management plan. And we were given an update on this, and that is provided for you in the package. The committee was pleased with the report. And of course, this is a key element of a larger financial plan for the board. And now we feel that, of course, recognize as a fluid document that requires regular updates. We ask that a 3-, 5-, and 10-year financial plan be developed once the asset management plan is adopted. So we will keep this on the agenda as a standing item moving forward. Any questions? Okay, be resolved that the board adopt the draft asset management plan as tabled. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Mayor Whalen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
Directors and officers insurance renewal. Materials are there for your edification. The committee was informed at our committee meeting that there was very little change to the cost of the insurance renewal. I'm pleased with that cost and agree that the board should adopt the renewal as tabled. Any questions?
Nope.
All right. Resolved that the board renew the directors and officers liability insurance through Wedgwood Insurance with Trisura for $4,350 plus HST per year for a 3-year term effective April 30th, 2025. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Glenn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
Metals collection, transportation, and recycling services at waste recovery facilities. Contract extension. Again, materials are in your package. We discussed the current contract for metal recycling and, of course, the lack of alternative vendors in the province. So, basically, for that reason, and we recommend the suggested contract extension. Any questions? Alrighty. Nothing. Be resolved that the board issue a 1-year extension to the contract for metals collection, transportation, and recycling services at waste recovery facilities to, drumroll, Newco Metals and Auto Recycling Limited, beginning July 1st, 2025, in the amount of $56 $8.50 per metric ton. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Deputy Mayor O'Leary. All those in favor? Country.
Now we move on to HHW collection, transportation, and disposal contract award. There's materials for you. We discussed the historical practice as well as the cost of this initiative over the past several years. We considered that a potential partnership with MMSB for future events might be an opportunity for the two organizations to work together on a project. We had no questions or concerns about awarding the contract for 8 events for this year. Thank you for Christy for her work on this and determining just where each would go. I think that's a bit less than we used to do years ago, but we're trying to get some efficiencies here. Anything to add, Christy?
Sorry, no, nothing to add. Thank you.
All good. Well done. Any questions?
Interesting enough, though, Sandy, we did have a municipality reach out to Lynn earlier in the week asking if they could do their own household hazardous waste. So obviously we'll assist them whatever way we can with information and procedures.
Yes,
yeah, good to see.
Good to hear. Okay. Be resolved that the board award the 2025 household hazardous waste collection, transportation, and disposal services contract to GFL Environmental Services Inc. an amount of $31,800 plus HST for 8 events. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Ron Ellsworth. Councillor Ellsworth, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, carried.
Conception Bay Center and 4 communities in Southwest Avalon area. Oversized items bulk collection contract for this year. The committee was very pleased with the outcome of the request for proposals and the bids that were obtained. The committee was also pleased to see some new contractors taking part in the process, so that's very important. Any questions or thoughts, anyone? Okay. Be it resolved that the board award the contract for Conception Bay Center and 4 communities in the Southwest Avalon area for oversized items collection to Dynamic Waste Management Limited in the amount of $72,500 plus HST. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Tom Davis. Councillor Davis, all those in favor?
All right.
Country carried.
Next, purchase of 2 tractors for Clareville Transfer Station. You can see the detailed information regarding the purchase of 2 Freightliner tractors. They're needed now to replace the 2015 tractors that are used to transport waste from Clareville Transfer to Robin Hood Bay. The 10-year-old tractors are now getting unreliable and break down often. One of the 2015 tractors will be used for parts, while the other will replace the 2010 shunt truck used at the site. The committee considered various elements of the purchase, such as cost, Canadian versus US made products, and potential tariffs. The committee agreed to proceed with the recommendation of purchasing 2 Freightliner tractors to be utilized at Clareville Transfer Station. Any thoughts or questions?
Lynn, I guess we're going through this one now and then talk about the financing of it later. Is that what we'll do? We'll approve the purchase or purchase or lease.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say purchase or lease there. Do we need to change that?
It says purchase.
Yeah, we were going to have a discussion about financing these as opposed to outright purchase. Yeah.
Well, now's the time, I would guess.
Okay.
Purchase it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I just have a question as to how many kilometers a year, because obviously it's mostly highway driving, right? I assume it just leaves transfer stations and drives into Robin Hood Bay. Is that correct?
They leave our depot in Whitburn, go to the waste recovery facilities, load up, go to Robin Hood Bay, and then return back. No, Christy can add something to that.
So these are based out of the Clareville Transfer Station. So they
There's Clareville, sorry, yes.
So they run from the Clareville Transfer Station into Robin Hood Bay, and we make on the average week it is 1 trip a day. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's 1 less, but that's typical.
So like 250 trips a year?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it 1 a day? You said earlier? 1 Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Yes. Monday to Friday. Yeah.
And then like 400-kilometer round trip.
Approximately, yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
We were
I was just wondering, did we consider used at all? Like, I'm just a question. I mean, maybe that's not even appropriate. I'm just thinking like a small business. It's 100,000 kilometers a year, so that adds up pretty quick. So maybe that's the logic.
Yeah, we get 10 years. We got 10 years out of these. I guess 10, 12 years out of these
Yeah.
machines now. So it's fine
And-
use. I know
And
what you're
there's
saying.
quite a bit of an expense associated with the PTO, with the
Yes.
wet kit and the PTO that would have to be retrofitted onto anything. We did discuss in committee rentals, and that's part of it, is the specialized portion that hooks up to the walking floors to be operated.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact it's 100,000 kilometers a year, I think it makes a lot more sense. I was thinking it was lower kilometers, so I did the math thinking out loud. All good. Thank you for that.
Fair enough. Any other questions?
Well,
Jason's got his hand up there.
okay, sorry.
Who's sorry?
Jason?
Jason, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, just curious why we only have one quote. Did we send out to several people, or is why we only have one back? Or
We had 3, I believe, pick up. I'm sorry, the brief note, I think, might.
Yeah, there was 3 picked up, I think. Three
Yeah,
tenders
three
picked
pi-
up,
three-
but only one bid, if I remember correctly.
And this was the only one that was received back.
One of the vendors expressed issues with supply.
Yeah.
Has a problem with bidding.
And I think the other one couldn't guarantee us the price, even if they bid on it. If they bid $1, they couldn't guarantee us $1 when we went to actually buy it because of what was going on there.
yeah, okay. Well, we carried the 25% of it that summer in the tariffs included or something.
I don't know if we
Right,
beat
so
this.
there is a tariff amount included in that price. Should the tariffs not be applicable, that will be removed from the price.
Yeah, okay, no, that's good.
We can only hope.
Get it in before 60 more days.
Yeah, that's right. Lynn, did you need something else there? No? No? Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none. Go ahead there, Sandy.
Yeah, but do we decide about?
Oh, sorry. So yeah, read the motion as is, and we'll fix it up in the privilege meeting later on.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Be resolved that the board purchase 2 25-26 Freightliner tractors from Next Gen Municipal Inc. for a total of $628,358.50 plus HST for use at the Claremville transfer station. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Councillor Ellsworth. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary carried.
Now we move on to the walking floor trailers, and again, materials there for you. We discussed these. These are again for Claremville. They will be purchased in conjunction with these 2 Freightliner tractors, and will replace 3 2015 trailers. And we'll use those old trailers to transport recyclables from Claremville to Robin Hood Bay. Their recyclables are drawing way less than regular garbage. It is expected that transporting recycling will extend the usable life of these 2015 trailers from the predicted 1.5 years to 4 years. Again, we discussed costs, alternative options, tariffs, and equipment compatibility, and that they were all factors, believe me. And we really, after that discussion, we had no concerns with the recommendation to purchase these trailers. Anyone else have questions or want some? It's all in your note, but if you want some information, I'm sure Christy can provide it.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's it.
We do a motion on that one?
Oh, we did.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sandy, you did the motion there.
Be resolved, the board purchased 3 walking floor trailers for $856,440 plus HST from Next Gen Municipal Inc. for use at the Claremville transfer station. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Councillor Ravencroft. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
Here ended the lesson.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hickman. Next up, we have Strategy and Policy Committee. This month, there was no Strategy and Policy Committee meeting held in April, and the same with the Governance Committee. There was no Governance Committee held in April. Next, we'll go on to correspondence. There was no correspondence to review. And next up, we have new business, and I would like to take the opportunity to welcome Mayor Windsor from the town of Equiforth to the meeting. And Mayor has a couple of questions, I think, that she'd like to propose to the board, or a couple of comments. So I will turn the floor over to you, Mayor Windsor. You're on mute, so you need to unmute yourself there. Welcome to the meeting. You're still on mute. Holly, can you unmute her from where you are?
No, I sent a request to unmute, but I can't do it myself, unfortunately.
Okay. We'll jump down while we're waiting for the mayor to get her technical glitch figured out there. So I'll just do the upcoming board meetings. You'll see the dates there as you read down through the bottom of your meeting. So next meetings will be in May, and I guess we're coming to an end of all of our terms. So we'll all be running for elections. Well, I won't be. You'll be running for elections. Some of you won't be. Yeah, there you go. You're unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, there you go. Here you're loud and clear. Floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you for letting me sit in on the meeting. As you know, we had our joint council 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or close to 2 weeks ago. I spoke to the people who said they haven't received cards. They don't want their names mentioned, but I checked with them again today and the cards have not arrived. Now, the biggest issue here, and you have to understand we're in a small community, and if anything goes wrong at the waste facility, they probably don't call you guys, they call us. And people are frustrated, which I understand. Now, a couple of issues that Beverly had 2 weeks ago was one person sent in their application. Their license was not expired when the application was received with the Eastern Regional Service Board. But by the time they got around to doing the card, the license had expired. And the reason you gave, I think, was that the people could have moved. Now, do you really think someone's going to try and scam a card in an area where they're not from? That's one point. The second one is, I work for Elections Canada. If a person comes in to vote and their driver's license has their address on there, if it's expired, we are to accept it. And you guys won't. Like, really? I think you're nitpicking. I think you're looking at reasons not to have the facility open. And quite honestly, I think you're trying to close it. But that's just my thought. But
no, that's not good. We're not trying to get hidden, far from the truth. So I'll stop that one right now so you don't have to worry about it. Renews Cappahayden is not on the list to be closed.
It's closed more.
It's a vital facility to our operations.
Okay.
It fits right in between where we need to be. So
it's closed more often than it's open. You know that.
It was closed when we had issues with electricity there, but that's been rectified. The only other closure I can think of right now, Lynn, was when we had a sick employee, and we had to move some employees around. We consulted with your rep on the board there, Jason. I think we moved the rep from Renews Cappahayden out to the Bay Bulls site in order to open that site, because its volume is like 5 times what the Renews Cappahayden site was. So other than that one, Mayor, I don't know of any other facility closures other than, like I said, when the employee might have been sick or there was a death in the family, that kind of thing. But other than that, we've been on track now since we've had the electricity hooked up there.
It was closed last week again. I got calls from people to say, what is going on? And my advice to them was to call the board.
Yes.
But their response was, they've called, they don't get a response. So then I said, plain and simple, look up who they're responsible to, call the departments. Because if you can't get an answer, I can't answer for them because I'm getting the same problems. And one other thing, Beverly is in a meeting in Central Newfoundland today. She brought this up last week, that have the applications there for people to complete them because, okay, I'll give you an example. My mother is 94 years old. She lives by herself. My brother and I mostly take care of her. He comes up every so often. So probably twice a year, he might need to go to the facility in Renews Capahaden.
Mhm.
She can't apply for a card because, of course, she's 94. She no longer has a driver's license. And I am not bringing her to St. John's to a government building so she can get a photo ID from the government. Now, do you think you might be a little bit unreasonable there? Just putting it out there because a lot of people think it is.
Mhm. I don't know what is the ask there, Mayor?
She can't apply for a card. She doesn't have a photo ID.
She has no photo ID?
No, she doesn't have a driver's license. She's 94.
Okay.
So no photo ID. And I know, before you say it, I know I can go to the government office in St. John's, get her just a photo ID. I'm not taking her to St. John's at 94 just to do that when it just seems so ridiculous that she cannot have a card. And Beverly,
Can the person that's driving the material to the site get a card or have one? Like,
no, he's from St. John's. He lives in St. John's. I can't apply for one. My husband and I applied, although again, we haven't received it. So what do you do in a case like that?
Leave that one with me, Mayor. I'll talk to Lynn and Christy tomorrow on that one and see if there's a workaround for people with no photo IDs that can't access a photo ID. I don't have an answer for you right off the top of my head, but in that case, that's kind of a new one to me. So I'm gonna have to noodle on that one and talk to Lynn and Christy tomorrow, if that's okay with you. And we'll reach back out to you on that one.
Okay, thank you. And she's not the only one. We live on the Southern Shore. The average age of the person living in Aquafort is well over 66. There's people here in their 80s. They can't, the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. Beverly, I said, is in St. John's and in Gander, and she wanted me to bring something up about the application. Like, there's a lot of people waiting. And as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, people have been turned away. And the people who were turned away from the site, their garbage is on the road in Aquafort, the two that I know of, on the road in Aquafort since they came back from the facility. So what do you think the communities look like? I doubt very much if we are the only community that people are coming back and saying, well, you can stay there till bulk garbage. And that's not until what, the first week of May, I think?
I'm not sure what the date is on that one for up your way. I have to look it up. But just to go back to the other people in Aquafort, like over the age of 65 or whatever, that don't have photo IDs, whatever we apply to your mother who's 94 would obviously apply to anybody then who doesn't have a photo ID. We'll have to figure out a workaround for people with no photo IDs. Okay. And again, there's something Lynn and Christy and I will talk about tomorrow and see if we can find a workaround on that. With regards to you saying you're saying there's stuff in the roads. I don't know. Is it in
the driveways, on the edge of the roads, where they put their bulk pickup? But it's been there now. So they've come home from Renews Capahaden site and put it out on the curb for bulk pickup. Right. Okay. And I will give them credit. They're not one of the ones that have dumped it up by outside on the road up there, and people are doing that. Yes, I think you're being too strict with people. If I applied for my card and I haven't received it, you have my application. There must be some way that just the application alone is enough until we receive the card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's we're monitoring all of that, Mayor Windsor. I don't have an answer for you on that one right now. Lynn and I had a good conversation on that this morning about the process. We are on schedule. We've got about 4,500 applications in, Lynn. I'm looking at you and you're going to nod your head yes. Okay, about 4,500 applications in, about 2,800 cards got out. It's we're working through the last bunch there now. We're about 4 weeks to date, I think, the two. So if somebody has a card, like an application in 4 weeks ago, we're pretty well caught up with them now. There were about I'm going to say about 1,000 applications, Mayor, that had misinformation on them, either wrong email addresses, wrong telephone numbers, wrong addresses, wrong names. So we're working our way back through. All of those people have been notified back by email that there's some information that's wrong in their thing, or they haven't signed their forms. So we're hoping to get those cleared up as quick as we can. There were a couple, I think, I'm not sure how many, Lynn, but there was a few that had wrong email addresses. So when we emailed them back to say that the misinformation was on their forms, the email bounced back. So we're trying to work our way through those as well. So we've got a few piles on the desk of different levels of, where they are in the system.
Now, I haven't received my card.
When did you apply?
Not till towards the end of March.
Yeah, so it would be 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah.
But other people don't have them. Like the people I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And
That's a hard one for me, Mayor, because I mean, if I knew the names and I knew the people and the addresses, that I was talking to a gentleman this afternoon, Lynn, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was over in Whiteway.
Yeah.
Who contacted me and said, he applied for a card, gave me his name, and I checked out with Lynn, and he only applied for 2 weeks ago. So of course he doesn't have his card. But we can, like, if we knew the names or the addresses, we could certainly follow up on them. And if there was an issue with the application or an issue with the, if we were slow getting it back to them, then we'll be at fault, obviously. But if there's an issue with their application, it's hard for us to go back and say, hey, Steve Tessier, your application didn't have your address on it, or your phone number, or your email address. So I know they don't want their names, but I'm sort of hands tied on that one.
Well, I'll check with them again.
Yeah, Mary, you can call me directly if you want, and then I can just call Lynn directly. So there's only three people involved. So it doesn't necessarily be shared amongst all the board members or the staff. I mean, if they're protective of their names, we keep the circle pretty small on it, but we can at least check on it for them, right, and get back to you on it.
Okay, if I could get your number.
709-682-4090. That's my private cell phone number. You can call me there.
Okay, thank you.
I go to bed at 11 o'clock, so don't call after that.
Okay.
But I'm up at 5, so if you call me at 5, I'll answer.
Okay.
Is there any other issues?
No.
Okay. We'll follow up with you on a couple of those things there. There's some valid points there. If somebody doesn't have an ID, I get that. Especially someone who's elderly, and if we can find a workaround, we can see what we can do there to accommodate. I guess whatever we come to accommodate with. I mean, some of the people, like if you're 60 years old and you don't have an ID, I think most people at that age would be able to accommodate something with a picture on it. But I understand the 94-year-old is much more difficult to get them into a space where we can get a picture ID. Yeah.
When I said the average age was 60, 66, I think it is. But there are a lot of 80-year-olds here too, and the 80-year-olds don't. So I'll wait for to hear something from you.
Yeah, I imagine like a 66-year-old will probably still have their driver's license of some sort,
Yes.
But a 94-year-old, I can see that. I can see that. So maybe we'll find a way.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I appreciate you coming to meet with us. If you got anything else, feel free to reach out anytime. We're always around.
Okay.
Now you have my cell phone number, so there you go. You can call me. Okay. We're going to carry on with the meeting there now, and we are going to go into a in-camera session. We have some financial information that we need to deal with. So with that, Holly, I'd ask you to stop the recording. And Mayor Windsor, unfortunately, you have to leave as well. So
okay.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
The rest of your evening.
Bye.
Thanks, Steve. I'll be back in just 1 second.
Okay.
Charles, just a note, I'm going to put you in a waiting room just for a moment until we're done this part.
We won't be long.
And Holly, I think we need to move the motion first before we go in camera.
Sorry. Yep.
Yes,
resolved
that's
that
right.
the board proceed to an in-camera meeting. So moved. Second by Mark. All those in favor? Contrary carried.
Thanks.
Steve, I was just going to say that potentially new